Hey, what's up? Let me say the following with humor and love. Welcome to the local chapter of Broke Ass People Anonymous. And I do mean that seriously with love and humor. I tweeted that out because, well, I'll tell you why in just a minute. Today, we're going to talk about beliefs and behaviors that keep you broke. Or perhaps you're starting to move up the ladder of success, but you're not reaching the level of success and you find you keep falling backwards. These are the same beliefs and behaviors that will make you broke. So good morning from Miami, good afternoon, good evening, wherever else in the world you may be. This is the Prosperity Unchurch. It's a thought experiment that I've been conducting for 6 months now. And I believe I need to get to a screen where I'm on so I just see, okay, make sure that I'm on screen. Let's see if I can get you the best light. I call this the Prosperity Unchurch because the concept, the thought experiment was, let me put out a lesson each week, a service, just like you do in a church, but it's not a church, it's not a religion, it's for-profit prosperity ministry, where I would practice and model the principles I teach each week. So we would do services on the principles of prosperity, generosity, circulation, and free enterprise. And I believe this is going to be the final epic conclusion to the saga, because I think I've made a mistake. I'm afraid that I'm creating a result different than I intended. The idea was to build this prosperity community, have people circulating prosperity, practicing the circulation law of prosperity, practicing giving and receiving, and modeling that behavior for others. And I've done it on a love offering basis. What that means, very simple, is I have just put the lessons out there and said, contribute whatever you would like to contribute. I have people who tithe. I have people who support it in a good, strong financial way. I have people who are just getting exposed and developing their prosperity, and they give $1 a week or $2 a week. And I celebrate all of that. And what I've found over the course of this thought experiment is that our reach is growing. There's more people watching or listening each month, each week. But the base of supporters is not really growing. And I feel like there's somewhere between 2,500 and 2,900 people, closer to 2,900 now, almost 3,000 every week, who are watching or listening and don't support it. And I feel like I'm sending the wrong message because I'm creating entitlement mentality where people think, okay, well, Randy has this information. I need this information. So it's his job to go out and give it to me for free every week on his, he should find time in his schedule and do that for me. And that's the exact opposite of the principles of prosperity we're teaching. It's never been about the money. You guys know I've been smart with my money. I don't do this. This is not my job. I have a real job. But if people don't even give $1 or don't even share the show, I say I'm just creating more dysfunction in our society, more entitlement mentality where they just think, okay, yeah, the internet was invented to give me stuff for free. So I'm going to put it up to you. I did not schedule a show for next week. But I will leave it to the community here. You guys, if you show me, no, I'm getting what you're teaching. I understand this is about circulation. I understand this is about giving and receiving both. And I need to be doing both if I'm learning these lessons. Then I'll keep the thought experiment going. But for now, I believe this will be the last show. And I do want to thank for sure, whatever happens, to people who do support the show every week. Again, like there are people who, before they even log on. So let me just say thank you to Alexander Timothy in Dubai, and Svetsin Zagora in Bulgaria, as Kiralee Ezer in Miami here. I want to thank those people that do that, and the people who keep this going. Paula Zaragoza has been my hostess with the mostest ever since day one. She's always keeping the chat clean, blocking the trolls. Lornette at my office, who sets this up, and then the people who support it every week, Jorge Melendez and Jose Lopez, who have been doing Spanish versions of it. So, and you people who supported it and support it every week, I thank you. Good to see a good crowd here. I see Batman is in the house tonight. It's always good to see Batman joining in. Jedi Berg, Jedi Lianos. I see Lisa Ryan, good to see you. Rena Romano, good to see you. So let's jump into this. So, maybe one last thing. It is, excuse me, here in the United States, it's Juneteenth, which is the brand new holiday that we celebrate here to honor and celebrate the end of slavery here in the United States. And so I want to give a shout out that we take a moment to reflect on that, because I think that's really important prosperity principle, that none of us are really free until all of us are free. So that's a really important prosperity principle. All right, so I started with 15 beliefs / behaviors that I think make you broke or keep you broke. I went up to 17. Now, as of this moment in the space-time continuum, it's been expanded to 19. So some of these are beliefs. They're core foundational beliefs that will cause you to self-sabotage your prosperity, your health, happiness, prosperity. And some of them are behaviors which you may not realize are symptoms of some of those negative or limiting beliefs. So I'm going to just go through all of them together, beliefs and or behaviors, and you'll see they're very intertwined. The first practice that keeps the majority of people on earth broke is trading time for money. This is a fundamental equation at the very heart of everything we talk about in each of these lessons, which is that if you are trading time for compensation, you have a finite ceiling upon the compensation that you can create, upon the prosperity that you can manifest for yourself, because there is a finite amount of hours that you can devote to work. So if you're in an occupation, if you're a plumber, a waiter, a Uber driver, an accountant, even a brain surgeon, right? You'd say, wow, brain surgeon, that's a very lucrative profession. Yeah, it truly is. But it's also limited in the sense, if you're not doing surgery on somebody's brain, you're not getting paid. So you're still trading time for money. To really accelerate your prosperity growth, you've got to break out of that dynamic, and you have to put your money to work for you. So we're going to switch. Instead of working for money, we're going to have our money work for us. And we do this in the form of investments and growth opportunities. And please understand, it's completely acceptable, normal, and okay if you're at a point in your life right now where you've just been able to trade time for money. That's where most of us have to begin. Unless you're born as a trust fund baby, you probably have to go through this process like I did and like most of the people in this group do, where we say, okay, I'm trading some time for money. Now I'm going to take a percentage of that money that I'm trading my time for, and I'm going to invest it to work for me. The ultimate goal you want to get to, and I really, you see, I push this a lot with you guys, is I want you to get to the point where you wake up every day more wealthier than you were when you went to sleep the night before. And that doesn't happen if you're trading time for money. That's only going to happen when we put your money to work. All right. So that's the first one to talk about. And for those asking, I should have said, people who want to support the work, the website is randygage.com/go. That's where if you want Venmo, PayPal, debit, however you would want to support. And we'll talk about that again at the end of the show, but it's randygage.com/go. If you're watching live, Paula just put it on the screen now. Thank you. All right. Second thing, I'm gonna categorize this a little cute. I'm gonna say it's chasing after free cheese. This is based on what I think is a universal law of prosperity, that the only free cheese is in the mousetrap. Yet, and everybody knows this on a certain sense, we know, hey, there's nothing, you never get something for nothing. There's always, there needs to be an exchange of value. And if you watch the lessons every week, I'm constantly talking about we add value, we solve problems, we envision possibilities. And that's how prosperity is created. But people are still looking for some NFT or cryptocurrency that they can buy that's going to rocket up for 10,000% in 2 weeks and make them a billionaire. That's not how it works. The only free cheese is in the mousetrap. And until you come to grips with that and you recognize, hey, success doesn't come with coupons or discounts or early bird specials. Success never goes on sale. You have to be willing to pay the market price. So that would be my best guidance for you there. Third behavior in this case is overexposure to news outlets. You have to recognize that news has a business model, right? If you're old enough like me, and I'm just checking in and seeing all the comments, I invite people every week. Thanks. All right. Thank you for doing that. Try to support. Thank you. All right. I love all this support. But again, I'm going to leave it to you guys. And again, I appreciate there are people who loyally, devotedly support the program each week. And I just so you know my angle, this is what I use to generate my philanthropic efforts. I tithe to the source of my spiritual nourishment. I support a lot of charities, and I have a lot more that are near and dear to my heart. And I thought this would be a great platform for me to be able to accelerate my own giving. So I really do believe in these principles that we talk about, right? So go back to news now and news outlets. So if you're old enough like me to remember, television networks were given a license. So we had 3 main networks in the US. And then to get that license, they had to agree to do a certain percentage of public affairs programming. So these would be the Sunday morning shows trying to help communities, and then the nightly news. So they had Walter Cronkite and Chet Huntley, or Huntley, David Brinkley, Chet Huntley, Peter Jennings. They would have these always white men anchors to start, and then it started getting a little bit better. But they would report the news every evening as a public service. That's what allowed them to keep their license and operate in television networks where they could show all of the garbage the other 23 and a half hours a day. Then Ted Turner came up with this idea of, hey, I'm going to do a cable news network. And Fox News got on there, and then MSNBC got on there. And so now we have a business model, which is multi-billion-dollar cable companies sell news. They sell, in other words, they sell eyeballs. They get people to tune in allegedly to watch news, but really the business model is they need fear, contrived controversy, and hate to fuel their clickbait to get people to watch. And so the more you're exposed to news feeds, and now it isn't just the networks, this is the newspapers, the digital newspapers, the blogging sites, the news aggregator sites. The more, if you put yourself to overexposure to this news industry, this clickbait model of sensationalism and controversy and fear and hate, it programs you with limiting beliefs, and you will start to feel you're not worthy, and you'll self-sabotage your prosperity. So you have to limit the overexposure to news outlets. And then here's what else I would caution you. You also have to limit the indirect exposure, because you have people that you follow on Facebook or Instagram who share all of the negative news happening, all of the controversy that you may not be seeing because you're not watching a cable news network, but you've got these people that you follow on Facebook. So you have to be mindful of the indirect as well. Fourth behavior, it seems so simple, but it's so profound, is cheating on your sleep. I woke up today at 5:30 a.m. and I'm happy I did. I've had this amazing productive day. I've already done my cardio. I've done my self-development. I put the finishing touches on this show. I had a healthy, nutritious shake to give me nutritional value, blah, blah, blah. But the key point is I woke up at 5:30 this morning because that's when I finished sleeping. That's when my body woke up naturally, because I allow my body to do that whenever possible. So, if there's 365 days in a year, I wake up when I finish sleeping 355 or 360 of them. And the other 5 are just because, I've got a speech in Australia or Europe, and I've got a 6:30 a.m. flight because that's the only way I can make the connection. And so I need to make sure I get up at 4 a.m. so I have time to get ready and get to the airport or something, right? But I allow my body to regulate its sleep. And that is one of the most important prosperity dynamics, is you need your body to be able to keep up with your prosperity consciousness. So I'm going to throw in number 5 because it's very interrelated. Number 5 is addictions. Nothing will keep you broke like addictions. And I mean any of them, whether it's sex addiction, gambling, food, drugs, or alcohol. Any of those addictions, they limit your body. They cause you to operate at the best analogy I can give for cheating on your sleep, addictions, is it's like driving your car with the brake on. You got one foot on the gas pedal, you got one foot on the brake, and you're just wearing out your brake pads, you're burning up a bunch of extra fuel, you're slowing your progress, and it makes no sense at all. Number 6 is kind of a bigger issue, a macro one. I'm gonna classify it as playing the game by league rules. And here's what I mean by league, right? We all are in this league of life. We're in this league of Earth. What's part of this league? Well, part of the rules of this league are, if you're born in a wealthy, highly educated family with strong political connections, it will be much, much, much easier for you to become prosperous. If you're a single parent raising children, it will be more difficult than with a couple who's raising children. If you are a woman in Latin America or Asia or the Middle East, well, really pretty much anywhere on earth, it's going to be more difficult for you in many areas of your life than it would be if you were a man. The same way, if you're LGBTQ, if you're a certain ethnicity, if you're a certain religion, there really is systemic bias in the system against a lot of different people in a lot of different situations. But here's where I say you can't play by the league rules, because the league rules are you have to eat shit. Okay, you're a person of color and you're trying to be an actor in the United States, you got to eat shit. You're not going to get the same roles that Daniel Day Kim doesn't get, the same scripts that Tom Cruise gets. That's the league rules. If you accept that, then you fall prey to victimhood. So you have to break out of the league rules and say, I know what the league is trying to do to me. I know the fact that I'm a lesbian is going to get held against me when I work for the police department. And for me to get a promotion in the police department, for me to advance my career, I'm going to have to do things that guys wouldn't have to do. A straight guy wouldn't have to do. It's part of the culture. It's part of the system. It's part of the league rules. If I'm a transgender person and I want to be a consultant in the corporate world, I recognize the league has set up barriers against my entry. But it always comes back to this dynamic. You hear me talk about it all the time. You can choose to be a victim or you can choose to be a victor. And so what you've got to do is say, hey, I don't accept those rules. I won't play by them. I will do whatever I have to do. I will break the rules because I know the rules are corrupt. Number 7, another really big macro one. I'm going to categorize this as worshiping self-destructive dogma. And so some of you are going to recoil a little at this perhaps, and you say, is he talking about my religion? And the answer may be yes, but I am talking about religion because, as you know, most of you, I took a couple years sabbatical and I just traveled the world working on myself, personal growth and self-development. And I took that as an opportunity to do deep, deep study into all the organized religions of the world, the major organized religions. And there is a lot of doctrines and dogma there that convinces you that you're not worthy. And if you don't believe you're worthy, you probably fall prey to an addiction. You know, if you don't believe you're worthy, you'll probably trade time for money. If you don't believe you're worthy, you're probably watching a couple of hours of really negative cable news programming every day, right? This is why I say they're so interrelated. The behaviors are just the symptoms of the beliefs, okay? So, if you've got to look at, and this is, you're going to see as we go deeper in this list, where we're really talking about developing the self-awareness to be able to look at yourself objectively and recognize, what am I worshiping? I thought I'm worshiping God, but am I really worshiping God, or am I worshiping a dogma that somebody substituted for God? Am I worshiping a religion, or am I worshiping a set of doctrines that somebody substituted for the true message of my religion? That takes a tremendous amount of self-awareness to be able to look at things objectively like that, to question the premises. Number 8 says, very simple behavior, starting your day reading emails or texts. This has to be the single most unproductive to-do list ever created. Because if you start your day with an email, basically it's the to-do list of everybody who wants you to do something for them. So you're doing everybody else's to-do list except yourself, right? And the same thing with text, right? Because a lot of people, it's the same thing. It's just migrated to text as opposed to email. Or you're set up to get a lot of these alerts. So you're getting these breaking news alerts, which again, are just sensationalized clickbait to distract you to their screen so they can sell your eyeballs to another 5 advertisers. So one of the best lessons I ever give people is to charge your phone in a room different than the one you sleep in. So you're not looking at your phone the last thing before you wake up, before you go to sleep, and you're not looking at it first thing in the morning when you wake up. And you're not interrupted by, your sleep is not interrupted by buzzing or lights or flash as alerts come in throughout the night. You know, my phone is here in my office, and usually 6, 7 o'clock at night, I'm finished working and I leave my office and my phone stays here, right? And it's going to be there until the next morning when I choose a point in my day to say, okay, let me look at the WhatsApp messages and texts that came in overnight. But it isn't the first thing when I walk into my office. I'm going to do my cardio first. I'm going to do my self-development first. I may have some urgent project that I'm working on first. And then when I need a break, let's say I'm writing on a book or I'm writing on a blog, and I need a break from that because my mind can't concentrate. That's like, okay, now this is a good time. Let me check the text that came in overnight. Number 9, eating and drinking for taste. This is so harmful and seems so innocent because we've just been conditioned that we should eat things that, for most people, what this means is I should eat things that taste sweet. So your baby food is getting sugar in it, and your Happy Meals has extra sugars in it. And everything you buy at the grocery store, ketchup has sugar in it, spaghetti sauce has sugar in it, frozen peas have sugar in them, right? So all of this sugar is designed to feed the bad bacteria in your colon and actually create a physiological addiction that makes you crave more yeast, makes you crave more sugar, right? And if you don't have that self-awareness we talk about, if you're not mindful about that, you just think, oh, wow, this tastes so good. And that's what you choose to eat. One of the things I do is that every meal I eat has to include some fruits or vegetables. And I got to tell you, I don't find vegetables that tasty. I just don't, you know. I love watching these, you know, nutritional gurus, and they're like, oh, this eggplant is so delicious. Oh, this butternut squash. I'm like, who are you kidding? Butternut squash tastes like cardboard. There's no flavor there. So, but if you like it, great. Okay, but I will eat butternut squash. I will eat, you know, one of the best things I do for my prosperity is whether I go shopping myself or whether I get it delivered at Instacart, but I get fresh celery, fresh carrots, fresh cucumber, fresh red peppers, green peppers, orange peppers, or yellow peppers. And I personally chop them all up. I have one of those airtight Rubbermaid Tupperware containers or whatever. And I also get some olives because I like the little spice. So I got these really good olives I mix in there. And then every lunch I have a big salad with whatever I'm eating for lunch, because that gives me the fiber to keep my body, you know, my digestive tract clean. Celery is like the ultimate healthy food because you actually burn more calories chewing celery than the celery has itself, right? That's how healthy it is for you, right? So yes, and you know what? I watch Sunday Night Baseball. I usually order a pizza. I'll be out with friends and I will splurge and have a really sweet dinner. You know, I have a sweet tooth like a lot of people, and I love caramel. So maybe I'll have some caramel flan after my dinner or something. But the vast majority of what I eat is built, you know, I eat it for the nutritional value it provides me, not the taste. It's a little distinction, it seems, but it's a major one in terms of prosperity. How are we doing so far? You all with me on this? Give me a yo, thumbs up, whatever. Check in at the comments. Same thing, you guys on the YouTube channel watching the replay, just let me know you're out there. Good to see. Got a nice crowd today. Good to see. All right. I just want to know you're following along. Número 10. Taking relationships for granted. Wow. I mean, this one is just, this is one of the most hurtful, harmful, destructive things that you can do for your prosperity, because it does two things. One is the collateral damage, right? Which is, hey, people who love you, care about you, want to help you, would be there for you. You really hurt their feelings, you distance them, you push them out. And so when you need them, they're not going to be there for you in the level they might be. And that could really restrict your prosperity. But that's the collateral damage. The real important damage is you missed the gift of the love that they have for you, the prosperity that they want to share with you. And that is tragedy, my friends. That is tragedy. So please don't take relationships for granted. Number 11, not knowing when to say no. And I think there's really two contexts here. I wrote it as one item, but I think it comes across two ways. The way number one is you don't understand the importance of setting boundaries, right? It's so important in those relationships that we just talked about. There are going to be people that's going to be really important for you to set boundaries. People who are petty, who are jealous, the trolls, the haters. There are people who don't like you and they want to sabotage your efforts. And then there are people who actually love you, but they subconsciously have jealousy or bitterness or just negative programming, and they will do things that could, subconsciously or unconsciously pull you down. So that's the first, you got to know when to set boundaries. And then the other thing is you just need to know when to say no sometimes, because, if I take my situation, I have 5 to 10 people a month who say, hey, I'm writing a book. Can you read the book and give me a quote? And I can't say yes to that, right? Because if I do, that's 5 to 10 books a month, because I'm not one of those people who just give a quote so my name could get on a cover. I don't quote on a book unless I read it. So I have to say, sorry, I have this policy that I only make a quote or a testimonial for a book or a course or something that I've actually experienced myself and believe in. And I'm sorry, I don't have time for the 5 to 10 extra books a month that people would send me. So I only do it for my personal friends. Right? Bob Berg knows every book he ever writes for the rest of his career, he can always send me, and I'm happy to read it, a proof thing, right? Because he's one of my friends, and I've made that as the thing. Maybe you don't get people asking you to read books, but you get people asking for your help, right? And you have a lot of different people pulling at you. And you have your kids, and you have your parents, and you have your church, mosque, temple, synagogue, you have your job, you have hobbies or teams, sports teams you may be in. And all these people are coming to you for needs sometimes. And you have to be mindful enough to set the boundaries and mindful enough to know when to say no. The 12th thing is one of the deadliest in terms of prosperity. And I would break this down as waiting to be chosen, waiting for someone to pick you. Write this down, people. Success is neither anointed or appointed. You have to choose yourself for success. Stop waiting for the movie producer to discover you. Make your film and submit it to a festival. Stop waiting for the publisher to give you a big advance for your book. If they're not coming forward with it, go out and publish it yourself. Stop waiting for somebody to tell you you're a brilliant playwright or a composer, and just compose your opera or write your play or choreograph your dance, or start your blog, start your podcast, start your YouTube channel, build your website, launch your venture. Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you it's okay. Go out and manifest. If you don't find the circumstances you need, create them. I see that really resonates with a lot of you. I'm good. This is really important, that one. Number 13 is seeking unqualified advice. Meaning, if you want to learn how to fly a plane, you need to talk to a pilot. And by extension, if you want to know how to be successful, you should be seeking advice from successful people. If you want to become wealthier, you should be seeking advice from wealthy people. Stop asking broke people for financial advice. Stop asking miserable people for advice about success. They may be close to you because you may be in victimhood with somebody, right? That you both are working the graveyard shift for minimum wage at a job because that's just way the hand that life dealt you right now. And it is what it is. But the person who's there in the trenches with you is not the most qualified person to tell you how to get out of the trenches, because if they knew, they would have done it already. So please direct your requests for guidance to people who are qualified to give it to you. Number 14, listen very carefully to this. Using debt to imprison yourself instead of liberating yourself. See, my goal is I would like to see you get debt free. I'd like everybody who follows my work to get debt free at some point. Home completely paid off, cars paid off, no credit card debt, money set aside in investments, growing your money working for you every day. But even then, there still will be situations where it would make sense for you to employ debt, right? You see, wow, there's an amazing office building going for sale right now. And I think it's really, the value is extremely low because they lost a bunch of tenants because of coronavirus. And I can get it at a very reduced price, and the long-term projection for this would be very good. So they want $1 million for it, and I can put down 200,000 and they can loan me 800,000. And then I believe in 5 years, that building is worth $4 million and has a positive cash flow, right? So that would be an example of using debt to liberate yourself, right? You're using debt to create more income. That's a positive way to use debt. Now, when you see a commercial on TV and they say, you can get a new sofa and love seat and high definition TV with no payments for the next 12 months, that is not debt that's going to liberate you. That is debt that is enslaving you. Because instead of waiting until you can manifest enough money to buy your new furniture that you'd like to have or your new HD TV, you're borrowing, you're creating debt and paying high interest. And all that's doing is imprisoning you. So be mindful how you employ debt. Number 15, I call this all macro, not enough micro. Because what people do sometimes, what I want to caution you to avoid is setting goals. I'm going to be a millionaire by 18 months from today. I'm going to take my company public and be worth, a unicorn, multi-billion-dollar thing for this. And we look at the macro, the big picture stuff, but you aren't focusing enough on the micro, the little picture stuff. Listen to me very carefully. You do not create your future. You create your daily habits, and they create your future. So things aren't really going the way you want in terms of manifesting your prosperity. Yeah, okay, look at the big goals, look at what's your big vision, but also take the time to mindfully look at and say, what are my daily habits? Are my daily habits taking me closer to my dreams or pulling me further apart than my dreams? Number 16 is pretty simple, but again, quite profound. 16 is taking the easy choice. We love easy choices, right? We just, I like Mind Valley, which is one of the self-development companies out there, but I'm so disappointed in them. They have this exercise program, how to 10x your results, and what's his name? It's Garcia is last name, Brazilian guy. Anyway, they had this 10x program, and they say you're going to 10x your workout results with two 20-minute workouts a week. And I'm like, that is not the case. I'm a guy who works out an hour a day, right? So, and I'm in pretty good shape, right? But I still feel like, okay, I have a couple of pounds I picked up in COVID that I'd like to get rid of. So, but they keep sending me, because I'm on their mailing list, and they keep sending me this promo of, 2 20-minute workouts. And I don't buy it, because I don't believe it. Because I believe I need more than 2 20-minute workouts a week, right? I believe everybody should do cardio every day. So, but anyway, I get a thing after thing, and I'm finally like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it, and I'll look at it, and maybe there's something that I could pick up from it, right? So I buy the program, whatever it is, $300, or I don't remember. It's been a while ago. So finally, 2 days ago, I say, let me go check that out, because maybe there's something in there that I can integrate into my current workouts. So I get I open up the new program that's 20 minutes twice a week. The first day is 1 hour worth of introductory lessons. That's on Monday. Then Tuesday, you watch 40 minutes of what the workout is supposed to be for the 20 minutes. Then on Wednesday, there's a fitness test to check your progress and a course you watch. And then on Thursday, there's watch 30 or 40 minutes of what the workout's supposed to be. And then it's the 20-minute workout. And then on Friday is another test. And then on Saturday, and I look, and it's like 8 hours a week worth of workout. That if they would have told me that from the beginning, I would have bought it instantly, because I would say, yeah, 8 hours a week is a serious workout program that would help me reach my goals. But I kept staying away from it because it was an easy choice, and I don't trust easy choices. I know that you're not going to be a fit human being if you only work out 20 minutes 2 times a week. The human body needs more exercise and, get the blood pumping and the oxygen going in your lungs and all of that stuff. Here's what I know to be true. If you are willing to make hard choices, you will have an easy life. If you always default to easy choices, you will have a very hard life. The pain of self-discipline is dramatically less than the anguish of regret. Another way I would break this down on another level is I find that wealthy people seek learning, and broke people seek entertainment. Right? So entertainment is the easy choice. Wow, The Falcon and the Soldier is streaming now. Loki is streaming now. The Boys is on Amazon Prime. The Expanse is on Amazon. And well, you could fill up 5 hours of every night with entertainment, right? Or you could say, wow, I need to think about some of that time. I need to be choosing learning, which will develop skills and hone and create wisdom. But that's a harder choice, right? So the macro part of that is people who default, who take the easy choice, they live very hard lives. Number 17 is huge. Holding on to victimhood. What I find is that for most people, they surround themselves with people who give them permission to stay the way they are. You want to mindfully surround yourself with people who challenge you to become a higher possible version of yourself. You people who are in this room right now, I celebrate you. You people who are watching or listening to the replay right now, the sound of my voice, I celebrate you because you made a hard choice, right? You chose learning over entertainment for this. You know, we're going like an hour, right? You chose an hour of focused personal growth and self-development that you could have spent watching a sitcom on network TV, right? So you know that's a big step, but it signifies that you're not willing to hold on to victimhood, because victimhood is so insidious. Because the thing, and I only say this because I was a professional victim for the first 30 years of my life. And I always was talking about all the drama, all the trauma, all the injustice, all of the unfair things that were happening to me. But it took me so long to recognize was that I was getting an emotional payoff from being a victim. And that's what was causing me to keep self-sabotaging myself and live in victimhood. Number 18, this will be one of those controversial ones for some people. And that is, if you living life dedicated to making others happy. If you live your life dedicated to making other people happy, I can promise you, I can guarantee you, you will be miserable. And miserable people cannot make other people happy. You have to recognize there is a virtue in selfishness, in a degree of selfishness. There's a virtue to getting your own needs met first, so that you are physically and emotionally capable of serving other people. And this is where I'm going to lose some people. This is where people are going to want to cancel me. But I'm going to include the people who say, my whole life is dedicated to serving God. I'm just telling you, in my belief, that is complete batshit crazy dysfunction. And people who think that they should dedicate and spend their entire life serving God are, the people I know who live by that philosophy are the most messed up, miserable, tragedy attracting, crisis prone, professional victim people that I know. They're just a hot mess. Because if you really believe in a benevolent God, your God would never ask that of you. A benevolent God, a God who loves you. And I have no problem if you believe in God. I have no problem if you believe God loves you. I hope you believe that God loves you. But just know, a God who loves you would love you so much that they will want you to become the highest possible version of yourself. And you will serve others by the example that you create, by leading by demonstration, by getting your needs met in a healthy manner so that you are able to help serve others. And finally, number 19 that I think pulls this all together is the unwillingness to become self-aware. And this is where you're questioning the premise. You know, you're questioning your foundational beliefs in all the major areas of your life. You know, this would be my shameless self-promotion plug here for my last book, Radical Rebirth. That book is the most important work of my life. It's the culmination of at least 20 or 25 years worth of work in prosperity and self-development, personal growth. And it's about questioning all of those key areas in your life, your foundational beliefs about God and religion, health and wellness, marriage and relationships, money and success, all, you know, the important areas of your life, to be able to go up to that level of self-awareness, to objectively look down on yourself from 30,000 feet and look down and say, okay, what are my foundational beliefs? How did I get them? When did I get them? And do they serve me? If you want to break out of broke and manifest prosperity, you've got to be willing to reinvent yourself. All right, people are sending money into Venmo. Thank you for the support. It's up to you guys. You're going to decide if there's going to be another one of these. You got to be willing to, and that's why I call it radical rebirth. And some of you, it's going to be a case where there's parts of you that you hate so much, you want to kill off that part of you and replace it with a different part. And then there's, as you evolve and you get higher levels of consciousness and you move closer to that highest possible version of yourself, you are, instead of killing off or running away from a part of you you don't like, you're running toward a part of you that you love and you want to develop further. So that's why I call it radical rebirth. And that's what I want for you guys. All right. So this is your chance. If you support the work, I need you to do two things. Number one, I need you to go to randygage.com/go and give $1 or $2, because you have to show me I'm not here for entitlement. I don't think Randy Gage was created and put on this earth to give me free lessons every week for the rest of my life. I believe I've been blessed to be exposed to his work, and I want to honor that work and support it. Again, because you understand, if 300 people give $1, 300 people who don't normally give, they give me $1 this week, the $300 isn't going to do a thing for my lifestyle. Okay. I'm not going to live in a nicer house. I'm not going to drive a nicer car. I'm not going to wear more expensive watches. Isn't going to do a thing. What it is going to do, it's going to show me there are 300 people that I reached this week, and I got to their consciousness where they said, no, I get how prosperity works, and I want to circulate the prosperity. So I feel like I've made a mistake because maybe I should have charged money to begin with and just done this for $37 a week and made it a course, and people would have they would have come at it with the right consciousness. I don't know, but like I say, the people participating each week going up, but the people supporting the work is the same core people. And so I don't want to create entitlement. So my default setting right now is this is going to be the last unchurched service. Again, unless you guys show me, if I see 300-400 people, $1, $2, whatever, I will say, okay. The thought experiment worked. It just took longer than I thought. The other thing is to share the show, right? You guys watch it on the replay. We put it up on YouTube on Monday. There's a share button. You just click and it'll say, do you want to cut and paste the share link? And you say yes, and it cut and paste it for you. And then you go to Facebook and Twitter or wherever, and you say, hey, check out this on church, or hey, check out this video I watch, or wow, I go to this lesson every week and I find it helpful. If I saw hundreds of those, I would say, I'd say, okay, they're getting it. So that's up to you guys, all right? If this is the final one, again, I want to thank so much to Paula, Jose, and Jorge. You've just been brilliant. You've been the exact model of prosperity circulation, and I'm so grateful for it. And those of you guys who have supported the show and share the show, thank you. It really does mean a lot to me. But I just feel like, again, I don't want to create entitlement mentality. My goal is that this is something that circulates prosperity and allows me to circulate my philanthropy even more. As you see, I spend a tremendous amount of time on this. I don't just, puff out something in 10 minutes. I spend hours working on this lesson for you guys each week. And I just feel, okay, I don't see the growth happening of support. So there's better ways that I can share my prosperity. COVID is getting really under control in the US. The world is opening up. I'm on airplanes again. So I'm 85.264% leaning toward going on another sabbatical, where I shut down on my YouTube and my blog and my podcast and everything and just go travel the world again, because I feel like the world is opening up again. And this is the longest I've ever stayed in one place. It's been literally a year and a half that I've been in Miami. And I haven't done that for a long, long time. I pride myself on being a citizen of the world. And I had a place in Costa Rica, and I had a place in Sydney, and I had a place in San Diego. And I like to, go around the world. So that's kind of speaking to me. So I will decide by Wednesday. All right. So because the replays will go up on Monday. So if you want to know if there's going to be a service again next week, check my website by Wednesday, end of the day. I'll post it there, because it'll all really depend on the replays. 90% of the people watch the show on the replay on YouTube, or they listen on the podcast, and those don't get posted until Monday. So those will go up Monday, and I will take a look on Wednesday and see if there is some tsunami of prosperity circulation. Then I will continue the thought experiment. But if not, I will celebrate this time we had together. And I hope that I hope it has been as meaningful to you guys as it has from me. And even, I'm just checking up on the comments. Yeah, I kind of had fun when I did the sabbatical last time. Every few months, I did a blog, kind of the postcard from the road thing. So I would probably do that again. Yeah, UK, I missed the UK, believe me. All right. All right. Thank you all for participating. Hope you go out and have an amazing day, everyone. Peace.